This is Collin Roth coming from you live from the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm joined today by Cori Petersen and Libby Sobic, authors of a brand new report on the Milwaukee Public Schools and their vacant and underutilized schools and buildings and what they cost to taxpayers. Libby, let's just start with this new report. What is happening in Milwaukee that's prompted this study?
Sure, Colin. So historically, MPS has had a major issue with vacant and underutilized schools across the district.
This is like the fourth report, right?
It is, and it's something that we kind of do our annual update of how many vacant school buildings does MPS have this year.
Yeah.
We found that they have 11, and so they have all these vacant school buildings, and they have refused historically to sell them to interested private and charter school operators.
This was like a big deal with St. Marcus, right?
It was. In 2014, St. Marcus, a high-performing school in the Milwaukee Parental Choice Program, offered to purchase a vacant MPS building for appraised value, and the district just shut them down and said, we're not interested. And that prompted some outrage across Milwaukee, and so the state legislature took notice and passed the surplus property law.
What year was that?
That was in 2015,
okay.
And they put it in the budget, and they said, City of Milwaukee, you have to sell the vacant school buildings in the district to interested private and charter school operators.
So we're in year 3 of the surplus property law, and this is our 4th report. So what did you guys find?
So we conducted a massive open records request, and one of the documents we got a hold of is this consulting report that the Milwaukee School District paid over close to $1 million for. So they paid a lot of money. They're facing this deficit. They got this report, and it's on their facilities, and it actually says that there are 41 schools that are operating at so they're operating
kind of underutilized, right?
Yeah, so they're operating at 70% capacity or less.
Which means just like a lot of empty seats.
Right, and as Libby said, 11 vacant schools. And what this actually means is it amounts to 900,000 vacant square feet throughout the
nearly a million.
Yeah, and so it's just a lot of empty room, empty seats. Not kids aren't in the classroom, and ultimately this is costing taxpayers money.
What are some examples of some of these vacant and underutilized schools?
So we have several examples. Right now, there are currently 9 vacant schools that are available for purchase on the city's website. One of them is Carlton. It's been empty for about 13 years, and while it's received a formal letter of interest from private or charter schools, it's not been sold.
Yeah.
And it just continues to sit empty, and ultimately that's costing taxpayers. Our report concludes that over the last 10 years, just on utilities alone, MPS has spent $10 million on these vacant schools.
So $10 million has been spent on vacant schools that are just sitting there vacant.
Right.
Just in upkeep, utility, not really upkeep though,
not
right? You said there's a lot of problems with these buildings.
Not even snow removal. So
right, it's gas, water, and electric.
Okay.
We've also found that MPS is leaving money on the table with these vacant school buildings. If they would sell the 9 currently available buildings for their appraised value, MPS would get $5.8 million.
So nearly $6 million if they just sold the vacant schools that they already have, that they've had interest in, right?
Right. Tomorrow. If they sold them tomorrow, they'd get nearly $6 million, which they could use for a variety of ways, one of which would be to help close some of their budget deficits.
Yeah, what is their budget deficit right now, and what are kind of the long-term implications of the deficit going forward?
So the deficit right now is $38 million.
And they're just in the process of closing that, right?
Right. But ultimately, according to the consulting report we got a hold of, enrollment over the last 10 years has declined by 11% in the district, and it's projected to continue at the same rate. And that's due to parents sending their kids to private schools and charter schools, but also just a declining number of kids in the city of Milwaukee.
Right. So the enrollments are declining. This is something that's been pretty well documented. Milwaukee's a city that's had education problems, that have plagued for a long time. It's the first voucher program in the country. We now have vouchers, charters, Milwaukee Public Schools. This is a report that talks about buildings and taxpayers, but what does it really mean to the education scene, the broader education scene in the city of Milwaukee?
So like we said, enrollment is declining. So fewer and fewer numbers in the district. And so some people are suggesting the district needs to just go to Madison and get more money from the state.
Of course.
And what we're saying is, hold up, wait a second, look at how MPS is using their money right now. Look at the money they're leaving on the table with the vacant and underutilized schools. And ultimately, we want these underutilized or the vacant schools to be able to be sold to good educators, schools that are successful and have good numbers, and we want more kids learning at these schools.
Yeah, that's just seems like common sense. Well, great job. Congratulations on your report, you guys. Cori Petersen, Libby Sobic, I'm Collin Roth. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time at the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty.